And with that, I do believe we are live. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Great to be here for another live build stream. We're going to be working on multiple things today, namely this guy right here, our custom Captain Fordo bucket, as well as we'll be working on this custom set of armor. These are a customized set of Evil Ted's foam armor templates sent to us by Diabolical Props, and we had a great time last Thursday experimenting with our paint pen and really giving this a unique look, and we're going to try and finish that up this evening. Good evening, Melvin. Glad to have you with us. It's going to be a fun, sort of lively, creative evening tonight, so strap in, because we're just going to be kind of throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. As always, I'll be, answering questions and things as we go along, and if you have any questions or if you have anything you want to talk about, toss it in the chat. I know I've been hoping to get your guys' input on some stuff. I'm thinking about it's about time I put together a full cosplay for myself, something that'd be nice on the con floors. And I don't know, I've been thinking about a Republic Commando, but I wanted to know what everybody thought might be cool, what they might be interested in seeing me make. So if you got any ideas, toss them down below in the chat. But for now, why don't we go ahead, we can start by sort of wrapping up this Fordo build. I'm really quite happy with the way the lining has turned out. The shape overall is really quite nice as well. And this technique has just come out really nicely. It's a mix of, sort of outlining some pieces and actually filling in some of the edges on these bands. And the effect is just great. As you turn it around, it really just has the look of a cartoon from any angle that you look at it, and I couldn't be happier with that, frankly. But now we've got some visor to stick in there. I have been just sort of warping this thing and cramming it in there for some photos, but we should actually install this visor. So to that end, I have here somewhere, the preliminary visor template, which we can go ahead and trace out on this and then cut a little wide with some space for us to glue. Now, when we're doing this kind of stuff, I actually really love marking in like a silver Sharpie, because silver Sharpie tends to give us some really clean, clear, pigmented lines on materials like this, where you might not normally get a very clean line. So to that end, let's go ahead. We can kind of scoot this up, try to give it a little bit of breathing room, but preserve as much of this as we can. Yeah, there we go. Loving it. There we go. Just trying to mark all the way along the edge here. Get a full, clean line that's not easy to miss, frankly. There we go. What's everybody been up to? Anybody working on something fun? I know I have been talking up commissions out my ears lately because I am just raring to go. Got a wedding to pay for. But I'm curious what everybody's been up to. There's a lot of really cool media coming out right now. Bad Batch is in full tilt. So is Rick and Morty Season 5. I'm curious if anybody's got something they're really enthused about. There we go. Just taking my shears on this plastic, going all the way around. Just cutting a little wide as I go. There we go. And I'm actually trying to preserve as much of the visor as I can, because this is really good stuff. These smaller shapes are really great for like single eyes on other builds that are just a little bit different than a T visor. So as much of this as we can preserve, we will attempt to do so. There we go. Just like that, we have our tinted visor. This stuff is really great. Like I said, and like you can see, it's super easy to cut. The one thing I really like to make sure I do is I try not to leave super crunchy edges, frankly. And I may need to go in and edit this slightly, because I know that this piece right here comes almost all the way up to this point right there, so I may need to actually just kind of cut away from it so that it can slot all the way down in there. There we go. Try to give it enough working space there. Great. The other thing we'll probably do here is in the margins, I'm going to bust out my rotary tool. And what we can do is we can actually drill some holes into this visor, and that way we can put glue in it, and the glue will not only try to glue to the visor, it'll actually sort of poke through those holes and sort of sink it in as though we were nailing it into the helmet, which is a really great thing, honestly. As I said, we'll take all this scrap here, we'll set it aside for future builds, because that's a lot of good clean visor there that we can hold on to, frankly. Oh, there is a sticker on the inside here. We should get rid of that. Let's see here. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Hello, Jason Salazar. Oh, I see Andrew Schultz, before we even started, commented. Please do more tutorials. I would like to see you make a tutorial for a Cloten Phase 2 Trooper. You know, I am trying to get out some of these more complicated builds. I'm in the middle of a Phase 1. I am in the middle of editing the Batman video. It takes truly so much time and effort to get those build videos out. And my patrons have been super helpful lately with some of their gifts and some advice, actually. But we're on our way to another tutorial, and we've got some more tutorials on the way too. And in the meantime, we've got these super fun builds and a bunch of new templates on our Etsy store, all of which, by the way, are going to be half off through the end of the week. So if you're looking for some of what we do here, some of those templates are usually just $3, and now they're $1.50. So I swear by them, and if you're interested in what we do here, I would definitely check them out. Without further ado, let's go ahead and bust out the rotary tool, and I'm going to stick a drill bit in here. And all we're going to do is just make some holes in the edges of the visor. Just some pretty basic, tiny little holes. I'll probably do some right at the edge, and then maybe one or two across the top. There we go. And as you can see, these aren't going to be visible from the outside in any way, but they will provide some very clean anchor points for us. Maybe do one right in the cheek here. Both sides. There we go. And maybe, like I said, just a couple across the top. There we go. Ugh. And you'll see I've also gone through and I've sort of rounded over all the edges, so there's nothing really sharp poking out. This will just slot very neatly in there. And if we've done all our work correctly, it should be pretty clean. There we go. Sort of test fit that. Oh, and I'm really loving it. You can see we're hiding all the silver, and it's fitting very nice and neatly all the way up against the front edge. Ooh, we'll slide that down. It's not quite sitting. There we go. There we go. Just like that. Oh, and that corner edge is actually fitting all the way down in there. You know, this actually dry fits super well. I won't lie, I'm considering not using hot glue just because it's actually dry fitting so well. When I put it on, let's see, does it? No, it doesn't get in the way. It's actually super comfy. This might be a problem that solves itself. I actually think we might just leave that as is. I'm McLovin' it. And that is super clean. I am super happy with the way this has turned out. I'm in the process of digitizing these templates right now. But these will be for sale, like all of our templates, for like $3 on our Etsy. Because I really like the way this turned out. I stand by these ones wholeheartedly. So without further ado, let's bust out this here set of armor, because this thing is looking really cool. I've had a little bit more of a chance to experiment with this marker, and I've determined you can be a little bit more bold with it, frankly. The effect is really clean, and when you are bold with it, it comes across really cleanly, so I've definitely put a little bit more oomph into my usage since the last time we attacked this. I'm liking a lot of what's happening here, especially on the finer details. I'd really like to pop some of this ribbing, this very nice foam ribbing that David put on here for us. So we might do a fun wash here, and maybe just over the whole thing to try and give it a little bit more grime. But other than that, I'm actually really quite happy with the cleanliness of these lines. We might just go back in and give some of them a little bit more oomph. Let's see here. Some of the exterior lines especially, we can go in and pop back out. Because why not? You know, it's our build. Let's let the build guide our hands here and really go to town. The one thing we really need to do is we actually need to decide what we're going to do on the back here, because this is a very big blank area. I would love to give it a little bit more shape. We're definitely going to go and attack some of these lines the way we did the other stuff, where we'll sort of get those corners in here. Really go in with the marker. If you yourself are looking to pick up one of these markers, they're super nice. I should put an affiliate link down below because I have had a ton of fun using it. This is the water-based black Sharpie, and it is just a treat to use. It's super easy to use. And I've had a lot of luck not only with using it, but with covering it in certain areas where I've wanted to clean things up a bit more. And additionally, I've had a lot of luck with watering down areas and letting it sort of bleed, just in some experimental pieces. And it's been really neat. Oh, the year was 1778. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now, when a letter of marque came from the king to the scummiest vessel I've ever seen. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no gun, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last to bear its privateers. Oh, the Antelope sloop was a skinning sight. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. She'd a list to the port and her sails in ranks, and the cooks and the scuppers with the staggers and janks. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no gun, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. Oh, once at Barrett pride the town, how I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. For 20 brave men, all fishermen, who would make for him the Antelope's crew, God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold, we'd fire no gun, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. On the King's birthday we sailed again, how I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. We were 91 days from Montego Bay, and a pumping like madmen all the way, God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold, we'd fire no gun, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. So here I lay in my 24th year, how I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. It's been 6 years since we sailed away, and I just made Halifax yesterday, God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold, we'd fire no gun, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, and you'll never find a better man far or near. I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. Man. Okay, there we go. Whoop. I let the marker get away from me there. That's okay, we'll just be bold. Big lines, broad strokes. There we go. Yeah, just sort of adding some fun definition to this edge. Trying to make this a bit more interesting visually than just a blank panel. Let's see here. We'll just kind of, there's something in the way there. That's okay, we'll marker over that. Something stuck to my marker now. There we go. Come back in. Hello, Dacry1X? Dacry1X? Good job. I'm glad you could be with us. We are currently working on a collaboration with Diabolical Props that I think is turning out really, really pretty. Really liking some of the shading on the back here that we're doing. This will be super simple to sort of tie artistically to the front. Let's just go ahead and try and be a little aggressive with this because we can. We've discovered this works really nice when we add a lot of oomph to these lines. Like I was showing everybody at the beginning, we just about wrapped up our Captain Fordo bucket, and I'm really quite happy with how this has turned out. But I really discovered that where I was able to make those lines really thick and have just a lot of oomph to them, it really tidied up the build as a whole, and it looks amazing. So I will stand by that, and I will make these as oomphy as I please. So let's go ahead, and this line just sort of ends. So in true comic book fashion, we'll just let that line sort of end. Same deal on this side. In fact, I can even give it a little bit of sort of artful shape. With a little bit of a corner there on this side. We'll add these sort of thicker lines to the arm's eye here. Really let it sort of run away with itself. Let's just, get right in there a nice thick swooping line. Looks real good. Anybody out there working on something tonight? I'm curious, real curious. Inquiring Jadens want to know. Here we go. Now we gotta decide something to do with this back. Now on the front we've got some really neat vertical lines and some panels. So I was actually thinking we could do sort of an off-center panel of more acrylic paint. I thought that could be really fun without getting too out there. Don't want to get too out there. Let's see here. Where did I put... There's my painter's tape. Let's go ahead and make ourselves a fun shape. Let's see. So that line kind of goes this way. We can sort of split this down the center, make a slightly thinner tape. I like this direction, but maybe we sort of, slightly off center on this side maybe. I like that, I like the sound of that. Let's actually straighten that out a little bit. There we go. That looks pretty good. Kind of go straight across. Go straight across. That works for me. And the real question is, do we take it down from the top edge at all, or do we just sort of let it be? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm in love with it following that curved line. Maybe we just do a rectangle straight across. Yeah? You could run it across like that. Try to create some straight angles here. I'm not being super diligent with this tape. We're doing something sort of fast and loose here. Just trying to make sure these lines connect good and straight. That's really the important part. Yeah, I think that might do her. Let's go ahead and mix up a fun color. Say, grab some acrylic here. Got this darker beige. Maybe we don't want to attract too much attention to the back, so we just get... I mean, you're not too late. No. We're just about to do kind of another fun panel here, but on the back of the piece, because there's not a lot of additional detail on the back of the piece. So we're trying to fill some blank space. I don't want to attract too much attention to this space because, you know, it's not the main feature of the build, as it were. But it definitely deserves some attention, and we can give it a little bit of texture with this sort of stippling method, frankly. Try not to leave too much texture, but there you are. Yeah, here we go. Really just trying to make sure we're filling in the edges of the map here. Glad to have you with us, Orlando. Working on anything this evening? We're curious. Inquiring Jadens want to know. Try not to leave these big bubbles. Just try to get it nice and even. Just making sure there's paint all over this section. Looking very good. Very good. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to try and get this section on here. And then what we might do is try to freehand on some sort of cartoon details. And then I'm also thinking two things in particular. I'm thinking we go through and we add a little bit of a wash to it to pop some of those finer details. And then I would love somewhere here, there it is. I got this sponge here that I can do, this natural seafoam sponge that I can do some really fun splotch effects with. I bet you if I mix up a slightly lighter color. You can get some fun, very artsy blotches on there. We are painting up this armor set that we were working on last week from Diabolical Props. It's coming along really nice. We're just trying to give a little definition to the back. And while that's drying, I say we actually go through, and I've got 2 shoulder pads with this as well. And these are pretty blank as well. I can actually see they were made with 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's just start with the big form. Same dealio with this guy. We're gonna add, lines to the edges of varying thickness and consistency. Just because we want a uniform sort of sense of artistic style. And I bet if I do some lines down the edges too, that'll look really nice. Yeah. Oh, we love that. I bet you I could do like a big sort of comic book, like bullet wound, like a big star bullet wound on one of these. That would look really cool. And we can add sort of a deep swoop to our line at the bottom, as though it was actually marked in one go by some poor, overworked illustrator. Yeah, that'll look really nice. And to try and give a little bit more depth to that, we'll actually let it sort of climb down the side of this, and that'll look really nice. Try and get a smoothness to that. Try to find the best way to hold this. Here we go. Just holding an open curved shape like this can be kind of hard. Fairly busy with your Doom files. It was a pain and a half to unfold the boot. I believe you. I believe you. Those files look really, really dense. Were you able to simplify them all in Blender and whatnot? Were you able to get some of that work down a little bit? I'm curious. Go. Yep. Just kind of let it climb down the edge a little bit. Here we go. For those of you who don't know, Orlando has been working on a set of Doom, I believe Doom Eternal files over on our Discord, and he's gotten very far with it. He's using pulls from the game, and they are impressive looking. We really do wish him luck on that. We got Star Wars fans, we got Doom fans, got all sorts of fans over there on the Discord. If you haven't checked it out, can highly recommend. It's a good place to be. It's a fun place to be. Let's do, oh, oops. Well, I guess there's no place like the present to add that, try and add that star, that bullet wound. Betcha if we go, let's say, sort of a round shape here. Give it sort of a No, I'm not sure I'm in love with that. Maybe we turned it into some more of a paint chip. More of a blotchy sort of paint chip. Yeah, that's I think a little bit more what we were going for. We'll revisit that. I think the pieces are there. I might need to pull some reference images, but I think the pieces are there. Let's see. We'll go back to this guy, give him sort of the same dealio. Nice even line down the bottom that we're sort of swooping in. But maybe his ends a little bit prematurely on the one side there. Really just fill that in. The one thing that this also does that I've discovered is if your joins have like some small imperfections, especially at the ends, this really covers that up, which is such a neat byproduct of this style. I'm really enjoying it so far. Let's see. I could say add maybe a line to it. Do you use the foam brush to reduce brush strokes? Yeah, that's more what I'm doing for this guy. The reason I'm using the foam brush is really just because I'm trying to just pat paint into that. Plus, it introduces a little bit of texture that I do like. It's not overly textured, but it does have some nice texture to it. It's not quite dry enough yet. I'm going to look up cartoon bullet wounds. Comic bullet holes. See what that looks like. Oh, I think I might have added a bit more directionality to it than I wanted. Yeah, so what if... Let's see how much of this we can cover up. Let's see, I might go through, add some... I'm seeing some little streaks that are actually really nice, but like just some little ones. And actually, you want it to sort of come from all sides here. So we'll kind of go back in over this like this. And we still sort of imply a directionality to it. Then we actually just fill this whole area in like this. And just like that, we've got actually, yeah, there we go. That's the bullet hole we were looking for in the first place, I think. There we go. Much better. Much better indeed. I like that a lot more. But I think on this one, what we could do is we could actually do like a crack if we wanted to. We could say, come up from this edge and just sort of do, could let that sort of branch off right up here. If it ends at kind of strong lines, I'm okay with that. Then add maybe a little bit of shake to it there. Yeah, we like that. I like it. It feels like it's got weight, it's got motion. I'm liking it. Bruh, what is good? Lots of things are good. We're making a bullet wound in the one shoulder here. Kind of experimenting on these guys. And we've added a lot of definition to the back already. And for those of you who are just joining us now, we've actually wrapped up our Captain Fordo build with the clean visor there. This thing has turned out really nice. I learned a lot from it, and we're digitizing the patterns for it, because this thing has been a ton of fun to put together, frankly. What has everybody else been working on? What is good for you guys? Huh? I want to know. I want to know what's up. Let's see here. Just add a little bit more to these lines on the edges. Really want to make sure that I'm not neglecting any part of this. There we go. Yeah, this has been so fun to use. I am absolutely loving it. Yeah, there we go. That looks really good. Working on your office for a figure statue review. Ooh, that's neat. That's neat. Oh, Diabolical! I didn't see you showed up. Glad to see ya. Glad to see ya. How you liking it so far? Always interesting to see how the interpretation goes down, yeah? Let's see here. Oof. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. I bet. God, I kind of want to do something more here, but I'm not Not sure. I think I need to just look up more cartoon battle damage. I think that's where I'm stymied. Is I'm a little rusty in this area. Battle dabblage. Here we go. Hang on. Damage. Yeah. Okay. Armor. I just got a bunch of Dragon Ball Z for some reason. Okay, I suppose this bullet wound doesn't make a ton of sense just as sort of an island here. We should probably add some more like patch and breakup like we got on the front of this armor here. And there's actually a little bit of a spot there, so we can sort of cover that as well. And these can be pretty abstract. They don't have to be super clear as to what they're like meant to be. They're just supposed to be, you know, breakage, and that's pretty easy to do. Yeah. I wonder if I should add like some shaping to it, because I can imply additional shape with the lines here. I could do, say, just a line curving along here to imply more of a bulb to the armor. That might be cool. I can experiment with that on this side, because if this side doesn't end up seeing the light of day as so much, I don't think I'll mind. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay, yeah, sure. That works for me. Try to give it good shape like a single stroke line. Because that's what we're imitating. We're imitating like very decisive strokes of like a pen, like an ink pen. Not a big marker. Yeah, I like that a lot. With just a little bit of the roundness to it, it implies more shape. That's super fun. How is this doing? I think we can add some more paint to that. Let's grab a little bit more of that beige. This is certainly a rare instance where I'm doing a lot of using the paint straight out of the can, which is not super my MO for the most part. I actually really like to mix up paints and try to get it to a consistency that I like, but I really just want to sort of slam the pigment into this rectangle here. I don't want to mess with it too much. I kind of just want it to go on and be a fun detail piece. The shape of the area we're painting is more important to me than the color, frankly. Here we go. I was telling everybody earlier, I'm thinking about putting together a full cosplay for myself coming up here. And I was leaning towards a Republic Commando, but I was wondering if anybody had any ideas for me, anything that might be kind of fun, something I might not have considered. Because cosplay, I think, is a really fun thing to be very collaborative on. I'm just curious what everybody's thoughts are. I had a dude say I look a lot like Josh Peck the other day. Not really sure where I can go with that cosplay-wise, but well, it's something, I'll say that. Here we go. Okay, it's just about dried there. Let's do a similar line on this one. Sith Juggernaut. Ooh, that's an interesting idea. Hadn't considered that. Let's see, what is that? Is it a chip? Is that just a bend? I don't know. It's visually interesting, though, I'll say that. Whoop. Oh god, the shake in my hands is really taking over here. I'm trying to embrace it, but it's getting away from me a little. Let's add another one of those sort of circular swoops here. Doesn't have to be perfectly even. That's a really interesting idea. You know, I hadn't considered a lot from the Old Republic. Somebody had actually recommended I try to make an Imperial Commando. Really try to distance myself from straight Republic Commando. Especially since, you know, original canon for Delta Force had the remaining 3 turn to Imperial service. You know, they lined right up for that. Yeah, that's good. And I think that could be really cool. I don't know. I'm still debating. Let's see here. Add another one of those chips down here. Gosh, maybe I just need to add more of these chips to the build, like, overall, because I actually really like the way they look. I think they add a nice unique sort of texture to the overall thing. There we go, yeah. Little tiny chip. Big chip. Potato chip. I don't know. Just talking. Alright, glad to see the Republic Commando ideas being well received, at least. I like this color. I kinda wanna remove the tape, just because I don't think I'm gonna get much more pigmentation out of that. And I don't want to risk any more bleed, frankly. So let's peel as much of this back, because any overage I'm going to try and cover with the marker. And because I knew there was going to be a little bit of overage, I was kind of fast and loose with the tape on this one. Ooh, that's not as great. Let's see if I can do something about that. Maybe we can just wipe a little bit of excess away. Yeah, there we go. And once that's dry, we'll add a little bit of outline to that. And maybe we do a chip like right on there, try to unify it a little bit more. Yeah, I think that would look really cool. I don't know if you've noticed so far, but the shoulders are actually a slightly different base color, just because I wanted to break up the color of the overall armor just a little bit more. But I think that's probably good. We'll try to keep those shoulders really high on the armor. And I think that'll be really, really pretty looking, frankly. There we go. By the way, once my office is fully cleaned out and after I finish my review video, continue working on your Clone Commander helmet. Heck yeah! We're all about the trooper buckets here. We really are. No shame there. They're just super cool. We love them. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Extending those lines down just a little bit along those edges. Yeah, that's really cool. I like how it's not perfectly matte, but it's a little matter than the rest of the paint around it, and it gives it a really interesting, artistic, sort of painterly effect. I'm liking this generally. This is a super like out there thing for the rest of my work. Like, this is not in line with how I've worked in the past, but I do like it. There we go. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to make sure I don't wipe away what I've done on the back there. I like where this is in the front here for the most part. Just add a little bit more to the arm's eye up here, just so that it doesn't, disappear by the shoulder there. And we should probably do some line right along this edge too, just so that it doesn't look like we neglected it, frankly. Try to be a little asymmetrical with it. Give your eye a little bit more to look at. Yeah, that looks good. I like it. Generally, I like it. You know what? I think in the name of not messing up that panel, I'm actually going to do something that might be a little ill-advised for most builds. But I'm gonna bust out my heat gun and try to quickly cure that paint, just so that we don't end up screwing it up. Besides, this could probably be bumped out a little bit. It's a little concave right now, but I actually love it if it were a little more convex. So we can probably just heat up the whole thing as well. Try and give it a little bit of oomph to the center. Yeah. Try not to overdo it. Liking how this is going. Specifying cut line edges in the 3D window, Orlando, is one of the things that turned my Pepakura from what I would consider to be like beginner but quality to really the kind of thing that I'm comfortable selling and whatnot. It's a huge leap technologically, but by the time you're done and you get comfortable with it, you really wind up with something that's just way better. Oh, okay. I'll hang that up. There we go. Now it's got sort of an outward bow to it. I'll probably hold this up while it dries, or excuse me, it cools down. And while we're doing that, we'll do the same thing to the back that we did to the front there. Just add some definition to this topmost line. You know, we can even come down with that swoop a little bit. Give it, again, a little bit more of that oomph we've been talking about. Just because we can, and we're evoking a very particular style here. I'm liking it. I really am. Here we go. Oh, and this rectangle is really great. I'm actually loving it. It's not too saturated, but it does have some really great color depth to it. Which, I won't lie, I was a little nervous it just might not. But it definitely does, and I'm happy with that. You know, it's never too late to add battle damage to your helmets. I mean, I've decided after the fact to just make cuts through what I would consider to be finished pieces before. Just because I think it's worth going the extra mile if you think your prop pieces are going to benefit from that. Let's see if I can use this architectural scale to get a straight edge here. I just want to make sure that I'm not ruining the cleanliness of my rectangle because I've got shaky hands. Here we go. Just sort of the longer lines there. It's a little bit further than I'm comfortable with. Line width isn't something I'm super concerned about. The marker's kind of taking care of that, but you know, we just want to make sure we're getting pretty even lines overall. And there, just like that, it's covered up any of that bleed we were talking about before. And then we'll do maybe a bigger hole right here, sort of like the hole on the shoulder there, with a little bit of that. And then I really did want to try and do like one big patch sort of across this edge here, because I want to unify this. I want it to feel more like one cohesive bit. There, yeah, I really like that. That looks super cool. Hot diggity daffodil. Use some of the black to cover up the shoulder line a bit. Coming across. Yay! There we go. Okay. Let's mix up some wash now, I think, because I would really like to pop out some of these details on the edges. And I don't know, this red is a little bit more patchy than I'd initially intended. I'm not sure I'm in love with that yet. We're going to see. We're going to see how I feel. So let's take, got all of these guys. I don't think I'm going to wash these guys because there's not really anything for it to grab onto other than, say, maybe some surface imperfections, and I don't actually want it to grab that. So we'll set these aside for now. Take some, take some black paint here. Excuse me. A little bit of water from our gross water runoff cup. And we'll take just a little bit of that with some water. Really try to get that pretty thin over here. And I'm not mixing up a big batch of this. I'm really just trying to get a little bit that I can sort of spot add and then wipe away. So we'll just kind of take some of this super watery paint, wipe that into the crevices here with this little soft brush here, and then I can just go back in with this and sort of wipe it away. Make sure I don't get it too much on the rest of that there. Now you can sort of see that grill popping out, which is exactly what we want. I want that deeper detail to pop out. Here we go. This is where it's really nice to have sort of some built-in texture on your piece so that you can really just let the paint do all the work. Hell, I could even go back in with a dry brush and pop out some of that. Now we've got some really concrete texture there. That you can see this a lot better than you can the other side. The other side just sort of disappears. It's kind of background noise there. I bet if I took even more this water here and just kept adding it to the edge of my black until I've got just a little bit more. Yeah, now we've got something super thin. Oh yeah. That's excellent. And I'm okay with this sort of shading down this area, just because we end up with something a lot more, I would say a lot more detailed looking. Almost pushing the bounds of what this artistic style would normally allow. But I really like that a lot better. I might even go so far as to take some of this and put it in the grooves up on these little deedly bobs, add a bit more depth to them. Go. Yep. No shame in that. I'll just wipe away some of the excess. Make sure we don't get too much overage. But keep it down in those grooves. Super simple. But now you can pop those edges out just a little bit more than before. And that's exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to take some of that detail that's just naturally already there. And really define it with this wash. You know, it's not to really tint the whole piece. We just want to make sure that those details in particular have that sort of fine-lined look. There we go. Amazing. Just let the paint and the texture do all the work. That's excellent. Wipe that away. wipe away some of that excess. Try not to leave streaks. And boom, bada boom. That's great. That's exactly what we want. Let's do the same thing, add it to the inside here. Oh yeah. Really brings out the depth in it there. Oh, I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. Okay. Let's see here. And then I was gonna take my sponge here and see what adding some splotches to this looks like. I'm trying to decide what color. I feel like it's got to be really quite dark. Take some of that, and then where's my brown? Hang on. It's not in there. Although there is some pretty dark brown in here. This might work. Add some of that. Really mix it in with some of that beige there. I'm going with something with sort of a vibrant undertone, but it's still going to be quite dark in comparison to the rest of the build on the whole. There we go. Let's see. Add some of this to the sponge here. Really try to load it up. And the reason I use the natural sponge is because now I'm trying to give sort of a splotch to this whole thing. So we can add sort of a dirty, there's kind of a line to it, so we'll wipe that off some of the top details there. Yeah, really go in and give it some grime. Maybe try to wipe it off some of the black there. Trying not to cover our work too much. I bet I could take my I have some off brown spray paint. I bet I could add some of that to this. Really give it a little bit more of that sort of dusty, grimed up look. Let's see. Take some of that black sort of down into the groove here. So we sort of outlined it on this side, but I think we could go a little further and just give it a little bit of that tonality. There we go. Wipe some of that back away. Don't want to go too intense with it. Just want to give a little bit of that texture back to it. Go. But we want to make its presence known still. So that's why we go with the darker color. There we go. I think I'm liking that. I think it's definitely giving me Star Wars vibes. It's giving me like an R4 unit on Tatooine vibes. You know, it's kind of muted, but it's still got those splotches of pretty decent color here. I'm liking it. I'm trying to decide how far is too far. I think we're approaching too much. So we'll just add a little bit more to the back. Trying to make sure that we're not neglecting that. And we can add just a little bit back into the shoulders here, I think. really try to unify it with the whole piece. Yeah, there we go. Oh, we love it. And there, because that dries just ever so slightly, we'll wipe away just a little bit of it without getting like a streak mark. We're just sort of knocking it back slightly. Actually, just sort of pulling the paint right off the top. There we go. Yeah, just like that. Look at that. Just a little bit of grime. I say, let's untape these here pieces of webbing. I had taped off the webbing so that it might still be dark when we're done. We'll see how well that panned out. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. I wanted to see how much of that I could preserve because, you know, they weren't originally painted over. It was just dark webbing, and I kind of wanted to honor that. There we go. Okay, there we go. Once we've got this untaped, as it were, we can actually go through and glue the shoulders back on and then see how it all fits together. I think we'll end up with a pretty decent result here. I'm really quite happy with this. We'll have to take some really nice photos of this and compare Diabolical and I. Maybe I cameo on his stream, maybe he cameos here. Just because I think we should both get a chance to honestly react to the other's work, because this has come out really nice. There's no tape on these guys. Here, why don't I actually let's clear up our space just so we don't mess anything up with any additional paint here. We'll get all this excess out of here. Set that aside for now. Okay, now you can go in and untape everything, as it were. Oh. Taping this up was kind of a bear, I won't lie. This is not a rip on Diabolical Props, by the way. This is actually just me throwing that out there, like, philosophically. Strap your stuff together after you paint it, even if that means you end up having to cut through like a layer of rubber or something, because you're gonna have a lot harder of a time trying to make sure you don't tape over your stuff or mess it up than you are going back in and just making space to anchor. Let's see here, undo that. Okay, almost there. There it is. Oh, it doesn't want to cut. Come on. There we go. 20 minutes of Jaden untaping clips. That's what everybody came here to see tonight. There we go. The one side there. These are the hard ones because they had to actually loop together all the excess strap. Which, fun fact, I will say, I was a little surprised that he had included this additional strap clip. Or well, it's not a clip. It's a piece to anchor down the strapping, but it doesn't need that because that's what the clip does. So I'm not totally sure why he's got that there, but it might just be to keep it clear from flapping around. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, let's get this out of here. Make sure it all still clips together. tell you, this ain't easy for a guy like me with no fingernails to speak of. Just kind of got to do it. There we go. Yeah, that's one side. Still clips together. Didn't absolutely destroy it. Yeah, no, you can adjust the length just on the clip. The clip actually tensions itself. But I think it's still a nice thing because you can use it to batten down the excess, as it were. So that's, in that way, it's a nice thing to have. Because that was my understanding, is that the clips themselves actually anchor themselves. I've had to use some in some pretty fun puppets in the past. Let me tell you, when you're trying to make like 30 puppets on a budget, you learn pretty quickly where you can cut some corners. I'll tell you that much. Okay, let's see here. Let's undo the end here. Come on. Come on. Oh, come on. Jaden has a mental breakdown at tape. That's really what everybody came to see, was the tape breakdown. Okay, here we go. I think I got the end there. Undo it from there. Oh. Yes, there we go. Free at last. There we go. Awesome. And now this can also go through. Here we go. Let's try to get the second loop moving here. Oh god, it's really looped in on itself. Whew. There we go. Whew. Thought we might have lost it there for a second. Here we go. Now the other one clips together as well. Excellent. With that, we can sort of get it to rest on me chest there. Yeah, I kind of like the look of that. We'll see if we can tighten that down anymore. Really like to see how good the fit can get here. But then let's go ahead. I'll plug my hot glue gun in, and we can glue some shoulders to some armor here and call it done. Because this thing looks really neat. It's a very unique look we've wound up with. But I can honestly say, this is one of the cooler things that I've had the chance to paint. Definitely wound up with something really unique looking. Okay, put that on high. And we'll go ahead and make sure we got this right. The real question is, I think we want to put the big break on each side forward, because I think that's the coolest looking part of it. And we'll definitely want to try and get those shoulders resting pretty high. I think I'll overlap them slightly. Yeah. Let's get rid of all this tape. Don't need that tape. There we go. Awesome. Looking pretty. Certainly correct, I would definitely say. In the meantime, I will reassure everybody that I am working on the Bat Fleck Cowl. I've been editing footage of making this thing all day, and I just kind of hit a wall and had to stop. But the cowl itself, I think, looks really cool. And more than that, I'm really proud of how it fits me. I'm really proud of the templates that I know have helped a lot of people put it together. So I'll be really happy to finally put out a tutorial on it because people have asked for it. Lo and behold, people have asked for it. Yeah, I don't know exactly what we'll be doing next week during our live builds, but I'm really excited to have this guy just about wrapped up. It looks cool. Looks real neat. I just think they're neat. Oh, man. I realized the other day that in, I think, September or October, it'll have been a year since I really started doing YouTube, which is crazy to me. Like, there's, I think, 41 Pepicura Tuesdays together in our main playlist, which is just kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy to think how long I've been doing this already. And, you know, we got commissions coming in, and that'll be really fun to get moving and grooving, but you know, how crazy. My, how time does fly. Okay, I think, just see here. Yep, glue's flowing, so let's go ahead and be pretty liberal with this. I'll go back in, I'll add more glue to really batten it down, but really, I just want to make sure that it has enough to stick to here. Like I said, we're gonna sort of overlap the chest piece slightly, and we'll try to get this lined up with the center seam here. But I think that'll do it. I like it. I like it a lot. It's got sort of a cosmic footballer vibe to it. It's American football for all you out there from across the pond. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. The same thing sort of right here. There we go. Let that cool a bit, but I'd call that a success, frankly. Just like that, we have a working, very pretty, very, very stylized chest piece. Like that is really something, and very different from everything we've done in the past. But I'm really quite proud of this. You know what, let's see if I can get it on. Because if I can get it on, I think that might be the real success here. Let's see here. Oh, the clip's kind of far back. I wonder, can I get it with the one hand? Bet. Yeah, there we go. We got the one. Then I bet you I can tighten it down. We got the other. Oh gosh. We'll go through and try to tighten them down. There we go. We'll worry about the excess in a minute. Because for now, let's just see. I'm gonna turn the camera around. You're gonna see my gross workshop here. All right, let's do this. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. Whoop. Yeah, I'd call that a success. This looks really cool. And it's really comfy. I'm really quite happy with the way this looks. How crazy is that? Oh man, I am really loving this. And the chest detail especially. Really. Down to the abs. I'm loving that. And this oh, whoops, not that. This, I'm looking at a mirror. This is super weird. This this right here, I am actually really loving that shoulder detail. And it's cool because it's not boring from the back, you know? I was really nervous that I wasn't going to be able to add the kind of detail that the front has, but I think that really unifies it, and that rectangle was a good patch there. These turned out really nice. This has been super cool. We'll definitely have to do something like this again in the future. Thanks, I really appreciate that, Orlando. And I had some really awesome base details to work off of, so I'm really quite happy and really happy to have gotten the chance to work with you, David, on this. We'll definitely have to do something like this in the future, because this has been a ton of fun. I should back this up. Back this up, trying to get a better look at that, because wow, that looks super cool, very heroic, with my apron underneath. But super cool. Thanks so much. This has been really fun. I think this is probably where we're gonna end the stream, because this has turned out really nice. But I really do wanna wrap up, because it's a little past 8. At some point, I have to answer to my fiance. But before I go, I would absolutely love to thank you all for coming out. I want to thank all of our patrons, including our new patron Ken August. We have Ken, Sam the Man, Suit Up Props, Benjamin Stanley, Laura, Ruben, Matt G, Pandulce, K-Snake, and of course, Austin of AJ Plays Piano. We want to thank you all so much, because you really do help make the shop go around. If you yourself like the work that we do here, you want to commission something yourself, feel free to reach out to us, or check out our Etsy store. We sell a lot of these builds. We sell templates, and right now, as I've been telling everybody, we have a sale through Sunday. All of our templates are half off. So normally they're just like $3, and now they're like $1.50. So go check that out. There's going to be a link down below in the doobly-doo. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming out. This has been an absolute delight. And as always, please take care.